Good day to all. I'm Kalavan Jayaraman. I will be explaining to you on the topic 7 of Sun Tzu Art of War, that is military maneuver. Let's look at the chapter outline of part 1. In this chapter outline, we look into trades off in maneuvering. Then we will look into the rules of maneuvering and how it is applied in business. Trades off in maneuvering. Once the rulers have decided to have war, the general will be first to receive the order. Then the general will move on to assemble the troops and mobilize his citizens. Before he gathered his troops and mobilized his citizens, the general must harmonize his diverse groups and build their relationship and their comradeship. How is that? By encamping them together. However, the most difficult part is maneuvering the military troops as to gain victory against the enemy. There are some challenges when maneuvering the military. First, the challenges is turning a tortuous and difficult routes into direct access to enemy. This can be done by derailing enemy with baits as well as incurring damages. The military will be maneuvered to turn disastrous situation to advantageous condition. During maneuvering, military cross 100 miles to win. The first 10% of the armies will be chosen to arrive at the destination. The rest of the army will be scattered over a vast area. By being separated by time and space, the vulnerability for enemy to attack becomes extremely high. But if the armies can travel 50 miles to contend advantages against the enemy, in this case, the general of the vanguard will be humiliated and defeated. Why? Because only half of the troops would arrive at the destination. If the army has to travel 30 miles to contend for advantage against the enemy, then only two-thirds of the armies will arrive at the destination. The speed and the timeliness versus well prepared or equipped and able to determine if maneuvering give advantages or disastrous. If the troops opt for speeds over preparedness to go after advantages, the risk of losing its supplies or troops that are left behind. This is because they will become a target for enemy. If the troops opt to be fully equipped to go after advantages, then you may lose opportunities. Why? Because Once you are fully equipped, it will slow you down in terms of movement. What are the prerequisites for combat? The first thing, heavy equipments and supplies. If the armies are well equipped and supplied, then there are better chances for victory. Second, sufficient food and grain. Since war is very costly exercise, then it is appropriate to end it in shortest time frame. This is also to avoid unnecessary shortage of supplies. Number 3, sufficient stockpiles and reserves. There should be sufficient stockpiles and reserves during war as cushion against any possibility of protracted war campaign. Number 4, knows the intention and plans of the neighboring states before you enters into any strategies alliances. The armies must remember that there is no such thing as a consistently trustworthy and friendly neighbor. Number 5, understand the characteristics of the terrain that your troops are moving through. The first thing is harsh terrain can pose severe threats to your army. Then, some difficult terrains may provide opportunities for the enemy to lay ambushes, booby traps, create obstacles, or sabotage your army movement. Use the service of local guides as a way to overcome the terrain and exploit it. Let's look at the rules of maneuvering. When you want to maneuver your army or your troops, you have to remember the rules. The first rules are be shift and invisible as the wind when in movement. So when we talk about swiftness and invisibility, we are speaking on speeds. Second, be majestic as a forest when in a slow marshes. Third, be like fire when raiding and plundering your enemy. Four, be like mountain when encamping. Steadiness is important. Five, be like the darkness of night when in concealment. Secrecy is important. 6. Be like thunder and lightning when attacking and assaulting. 7. Be generous after looting and plundering. And then the last one, be willing to share the gain when occupying conquered territories. Next, let's look at business application. In business application, we'll look into business maneuvering, which is market penetration. Market penetration happens when a company enters into a market where the similar or current products already exist. One of the best ways is by gaining. Other ways include attracting non-user of your products or convincing current clients to use more of your products or services by engaging more in advertisement. There are also few tactics that companies use to gain competitors' customers. The tactics are price adjustment. Competitors tend to reduce the price of their products so that it is able to shift the customers to purchase from them. Second, increase promotion. Since there are similar products in the market, the companies need to strive to gain sales or profit by engaging into promotions. The company needs to increase the promotions to attract sales in company. There should be more distribution channels. Some companies may have more distribution channels compared to their competitors. Having more distribution channels may guide advantages to the company to increase their sales as customers have easy access to distributors. Product improvement. Companies that are competing with their competitors will try to bring some improvement on their products. Improved products will get attention from customers to purchase. Here are some examples of competitors' products. How should you move to a position of competitive advantage here? The ability of the firm to outperform rivals on the primary performance goal, for example, profitability and market shares. Putting your competitors at a disadvantage, and you must know and understand how to attack specific segments, markets, or areas where you can win. According to Michael Porter, competitive advantage leads to higher profits, and this will result either from differentiation of products, cost leadership, and focus advantage. So let's look at one by one. Differentiation of products. It is examples of distinctive, more products features and selling them at a premium price. For example, Porsche, Barabos, Rolls-Royce, Rolex, TQ, Tissot, Haagen-Dazs, and etc. Cost leadership. It is producing products at a lower price than competitors. For example, AirAsia, Giant, Tesco, Walmart, and etc. and so on. Focus advantage. Here, the concentrates is on a narrow segment, and within that segment is attempts to achieve either a cost advantage or differentiation. Build margin of safety in strategic planning. Trade-off in maneuvering applies to business as well, since it is well known that the business environment is very dynamic. For instance, when an entrepreneur or businessman ventures into a new business, they would need to plan their finance for the next 3 to 5 years to come. You need to buffer in your budget. Buffer for you to act on emergencies or the circumstances that you might have overlooked. You buffer your time so that you can tackle difficult issues that arises. For example, the suppliers have some problems with their raw materials, or there is a strike at the port. Thus, no one to unload your goods, and so on. Remember to have margin of safety when planning your strategy. Are you practitioner of margin of safety? Just answer yes or no to these questions. Do you own an insurance policy? Do you save money? Do you keep extra cash? Do you reach the railway station an hour before the scheduled departure of your train? Do you believe that preventing or prevention is better than cure? Have you answered? If you answer yes to all or most of above questions, you are a practitioner of margin of safety. You keep some extra time and money on your hand in case things does not go as planned. Like if you run out of cash during your travel or you get stuck in the traffic jam while going to catch a train. That is the end of part 1.